Now, you remember that Tesla raised $2 billion back in February with the stock raise. Well, on September 1st, Tesla announced an equity distribution agreement to sell $5 billion worth of stock through an ATM offering program.
Cool. So I can go to an ATM and just receive Tesla stock. I put in cash and I get the stock out.
That would be cool, but that's not what I meant. I'm sorry. I meant at the market program. So
so ATM stands for at the market?
Yes.
What is that? What?
So this allows Tesla to sell stock at market prices when they want. So they don't have to issue any shares if they don't want to, but if they want to, they can wait till the stock price is high and issue as many or as few shares as they want to.
And we could be seeing up to $5 billion in capital raise, essentially.
Exactly.
So how is this different than a usual stock offering?
So because they don't have to issue all the stock at once, this won't really shock the system.
Okay. And so where are all of these shares coming from?
Well, kind of Tesla's making them out of thin air.
They can do that?
Yeah. I mean, they're just making new shares. This is how the stock market works.
Well,
you issue new shares when you want to raise more capital.
Doesn't that have some effect on my shares?
It does. It makes your shares worth about 1% less. They've diluted it about 1%. But because they're getting all that cash, they're able to do stuff with that cash, build factories and so forth, and hopefully shareholders will feel like that is a worthwhile use of the money.
So the company might become worth more because they were able to do stuff with the cash that came in. So why do this? I mean, they have plenty of cash, it seems.
Well, I mean, the traditional answer would be they want to make a stronger balance sheet. They want to be able to use this to pay down existing debt or to buy companies or to build factories. I think that this actually probably has something to do with the S&P 500. And that segues quite nicely into this next story, which is that the S&P Index Committee this week didn't comment on why Tesla was not accepted to the S&P 500.
I'm sorry. You said that they Tesla. I'm sorry. They weren't accepted into the S&P 500.
Yes, they weren't accepted.
Wait. Why? Why did they say? What did they say? Why?
They did not comment. I just said they didn't comment on why they weren't accepted. They accepted Etsy, Teradyne, and Catalent.
So then why didn't they accept Tesla?
Let's try and parse this out.
Okay.
So those three companies have a combined stock value of about $40 billion, and I get what you're saying. Tesla has over $400 billion of market cap. And I mean, Tesla remains more valuable than 95% of the S&P 500's existing components, including Johnson & Johnson, Procter & Gamble. In fact, Tesla is now worth more than Toyota, Disney, or Coca-Cola. And Tesla is up 475% this year.
So, and they're profitable for the last 4 quarters. So why isn't Tesla accepted into the S&P 500?
All right. So going back to our last story, I bet that S&P reached out to Tesla and said, look, our fund managers just can't get enough of your shares without driving the share prices up astronomically. Will you produce some more shares? And I'll bet this was Tesla's answer to that, which was, okay, we'll help you out. We'll be able to issue up to $5 billion worth of more shares. But you got to imagine, if you're a fund manager, it takes time to gobble up enough shares that you need to put into your fund. And so my guess, I am betting here, this is a conjecture alert. I am betting that the S&P 500 fund managers needed more time to gather shares, and that it's probably going to be another month or so before Tesla is led on to the S&P 500. Now, keep in mind, for instance, let's go back to 2013 when Facebook was admitted to the S&P 500. It took over a month for them to be admitted, probably for similar reasons, which was a lot of fund managers hadn't even heard of this company, right? It was a startup, and they hadn't put their shares in yet. So it takes time to gather these shares. That's my conjecture. My other thought here is that it can't be too much longer because these fund managers who have already started to gather Tesla shares in anticipation, if you're an S&P fund manager, you can't be holding on to shares that you shouldn't have.
Okay, so we have to kind of talk about float shares for a minute. A lot of Tesla is owned and held by people who have not been selling for quite a while. Right. These can be institutional investors. These can be Elon Musk himself. He owns quite a large share of Tesla.
Right.
And that also includes his friends. That also includes Tesla long shareholders who don't sell their shares much. And so the float shares of a company are how many shares are kind of in circulation.
Right.
The S&P 500 has to buy a crap ton of shares,
right?
Because that is what the S&P 500 is. It's an index. We've talked about this before on previous shows.
Right.
And so what you're conjecturing is that the S&P 500 would like to have Tesla a part of their index. The problem is, in order to do that, you have to have enough shares in the index and all the indexes that index off of that index.
Correct.
And that creates a problem because it would create a ridiculous amount of demand for a very small number of shares, which would lead to a unwarranted share spike.
Yeah, this latest spike we saw about a week ago could have been just that. It could have been fund managers gobbling up shares and then calling up the folks at S&P and being like,
Dude, I'm trying to get shares, but they're like so expensive. Like, what are we going to do?
I don't know, dude. I guess we're gonna have to like tell the S&P to delay it so we can buy these at like normal, not crazy prices.
We need more time, man. This is
Absolutely.
like a total bummer.
yeah. So to all of you folks out there like, oh my God, they're never going to be part of the S&P 500. I kind of doubt that. I think that they are really going to have to be admitted. I think they just need more time. Hey everybody, thanks so much for watching Now You Know Clips. You can watch full episodes of Tesla Time News on Mondays and in-depths on Fridays. Just click the link down below to head over to the Now You Know channel.